Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know how my mic sounds. I've been having all kinds of problems with this thing since I brought it from upstairs back down to the bunker here. It doesn't like it very much. I get an echo. It sounds a bit pitchy. I'm going to try to play with it, during the broadcast tonight and see if I can get that dialed in. Walked in today and had my mind blown by my 8-year-old. Told me that bananas are not a fruit, they are a berry. Mind blown. Anyway, I'm your host, Leon Francis. This is BlackBeardLogic, and I'm on the Guns in the 701 network. And tonight, we're going to dig into a couple of very interesting things, not the least of which, what's going on in Minnesota. Yeah, see, right now I sound like Darth Vader or something. I don't know. Maybe it's the way the earphones are. I don't know. I'll try to dial that in. On the show today, in the first segment, we're going to have a conversation that I had with a friend of mine, actually, who said, well, so I'm an IT guy by nature. If you guys watch the Wednesday show, I kind of went into that a little bit. I'm a network engineer. So I would say, I want to say 15 to 20% of my friends are in that industry. So they're tech guys. 80% of my friends are, Leo, ex-Leo, military, ex-military. Yeah, that is really pitchy. Oh, I don't know what that was. So I want you to stop that right now. What is going on here? I sound like a Smurf and I can hear it. I don't know. Something is up with that. Which really, that's just not good. But anyway, so about 80% of my 80% of my friends are Leo or ex-military or in that category, first responders, that sort of thing. But I do have a relatively small contingent of friends who are in the IT space, and we have some interesting conversations. And we're going to talk about one of those conversations that I had with a friend of mine, and I made I gave him a response, but I also followed that up with a video. So we're going to play that, and then we're going to kind of pick that thing apart. And segment 2, Darius Elder. So I had an interview with Darius on Tuesday, and it's like a 30-minute interview. It's a pretty in-depth interview, and he represents Fargo First. And he sat down with me to talk about their organization, their strategy to save Fargo from the brain dead liberals, brain dead being my terminology, not his, but the brain dead liberals that are running Fargo. And so that is a very, very interesting conversation. And when we come back, I'll unpack that a little bit, point you to their page, let you know what they're trying to do in Fargo, everything from the city commission to the mayor seat to the school board, just across the board. They want to make Fargo as red as North Dakota is. And I think it's an admirable goal. In segment 3, we're going to just dig into that whole Minnesota grift. It is massive. Massive is not the right term for it. I saw a report shortly before I came on that said it's not $1 billion. It's closer to $8 billion. And it's not just the money that was stolen. Like, that whole state is corrupt. I have sound bites talking about the CDLs that are granted there. And I kind of dug into this a little bit a week ago. But 33% of the CDLs that were issued in Minneapolis and Minnesota, 33% were illegal. Did you know that? I mean, it's crazy. 33%. not only are they illegal to illegal people, they were run through fraudulent schools. Thanks for that, Lynette. I guess it just sounds weird in my ear. I hear a slight echo. I sound like Luke. I am your father. That's a weird thing in my head, and I don't like it. I don't like it not one bit. Anyway, so and then we're also obviously going to talk about Trump's response to all that nuttiness that's going on in Minnesota, and including him calling that retard over there a retard. So that's the way the show kind of shakes out. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping right now. Third week of December. I mentioned this on Wednesday's show with Vance Bishop, and that was I had a lot of fun on that show. Like, I don't often get to talk about my roots, however you want to say that. I feel like I'm bilingual. I have a country repertoire, but I speak in a more flat dialect because I've been in Kansas City, I've been in Indianapolis, I've been in North Dakota. So my accent has kind of flattened out unless I'm like talking to my dad or talking with one of my relatives from the South. Then it comes out and you can't understand. I sound like Boomhauer. So, but anyway, third week of December, Clay is moving the show to either Tuesday or Thursday. For that week only, it'll be the final show of 2025. Clay's guest that night is going to be David Fettig from 1760 Sports. So that's going to be a very interesting interview. They're going to be talking about private versus public access land, deer hunting strategies, and a big announcement for 2026. So you don't want to miss that. Keep your ear to the ground for more details. Also on Christmas Eve, Clay is firing up the stream with Christmas music. So it was a big deal last year. So it's going to be a big deal this year. And I like nothing more than just putting every TV in the house on, the live stream and just streaming the music through. I love doing that. It's a thing in the Francis household. So my wife can tell you that. And also here I'm reading through my Jamie on the 10th, episode 38 of 701 Nation. I'm not going to do my Randy Macho Man Savage. I made a mockery of that great man on Wednesday, and I can't do it justice, so I'm not even gonna try. But that's a little bit of housekeeping there. Jamie will be here on the 10th with an episode 38 of the 701 Nation. I'm hoping to run into Jamie tomorrow. I happen to know, and I'm not going to disclose it, but I happen to know where he's going to be. So I might have to go up there and give him some swag, that sort of thing. Anyway, so we're going to roll right into the show right after this brief interlude, and we're just going to dig right in because, you know me. It's the way I roll. I'll be right back. This is Leon Francis with BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Stay tuned. So, I had a conversation recently with a friend of mine about, the times that we live in now. And as I mentioned before, a small contingent of my friends are IT guys. So they're more what you call like techies, trekkies, nerds. Not in the disparaging way, because I'm kind of a nerd myself. I love new tech. I try to go as low tech as possible, but I know a lot about like new and evolving tech. One of the things that I do is I build out networks, I upgrade networks, I optimize networks. So, you need your servers switched out, you need your APs, upgraded or updated. You need things like that. That's what I do. So just a little background. But this friend of mine, and I noticed a market, like the mentality between my first responder friends, my Leo friends, my military friends, and then my IT friends, that there's a mindset there, and they're different. Not 100% of the time, but I'd say about, I don't know, 90% of the time, there's a big difference there. So he's going on and going on, and he doesn't see the world like I do, and like 80% of my friends do, and I think that says a lot in itself. And I'm not disparaging him at all. He's a good guy. The only problem is his worldview. He thinks everything has gotten so bad, and I was reminding him of the 80s, because the 80s were bad, for crime and for drugs and all of that stuff. I remember the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, so if you look at it in context like that, maybe you don't fall to pieces, but I'm going to dig a little more into that. Like I said before, I'm kind of in two worlds. 15 to 20%. My friends are in the IT space. The rest are military, Leo, first responders. The IT guys are largely agnostic. And you should hear the conversation that we have. There's a couple of them that are just full-blown atheists. And, there's nothing you can do with that. The military, though, the Leos, the first responders, they are all, to a man, Christian. And I think that worldview is the dominant worldview. It's the reason why those guys don't fall apart. So keep that in mind as I play you my response to him now. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I want to get your response to my response to him. I had a friend ask me, like just a couple of minutes ago, why does everything feel so unsafe now? Like in times past, it felt like, America had problems, but it felt like a largely safe society. My response to him was this. Let me know what you think.
One of the biggest problems that I see with safety in the American ethos today is the men. And one of the biggest problems I see with American men today is they believe a very dangerous myth. They believe that society will keep them safe and that the system has safety built into it. That lie is why so many guys instinctively reach for a cell phone instead of reaching for a tool that actually stops the evil. Cameras don't have stopping power. Likes, views, and viral videos don't neutralize threats. And as the old saying goes, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away. Your mindset needs to shift to one simple truth. I am the safety. Be the Daniel Penny who steps in and saves the innocent. Be the Kyle Rittenhouse who refused to let rioters burn down his community. And even when he was down, got back up and kept fighting. Your spirit should align with this guy. You are not a spectator. You are the first responder God put on this earth to protect the vulnerable. So train hard. Carry every day. Cultivate the will to act when others freeze. Evil doesn't take a vote. It doesn't wait for your permission. So train. And train your kids. And surround yourself with God-fearing, like-minded friends. Build the safe society that you want your kids to live in. And you can't do that without training. When evil shows up, society doesn't need another witness. It needs you. When evil comes for the innocent, will you be the man who acts, or just another voice in the crowd yelling, someone should do something? Choose now. Train now. Carry now. Because that someone should do something is you. BlackBeardLogic.
So that was pretty much my response to him. And we had that conversation for a good hour. So that was like the breakdown of my response to him. And I guess my mindset, and I've been thinking about it a lot. I think that was probably Wednesday morning, I want to say. May have been Tuesday morning. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but it's something I've been thinking a lot about, especially given what's going on in Fargo, in Moorhead, and Minneapolis, and like these places that you just would not think of being like crime ridden or violent. Like I just saw that they caught the guy they've been looking for like months up in Minneapolis, and then I saw where they released him, and then I guess like right when I came in, I checked my news feed, and apparently they've got a hold on him now for a warrant or something. Thanks, Lynette. Lynette said that was awesome. Thank you. Just a little something I threw together. And I believe that. I believe that. I believe that all of the friends that I've met, especially, well, I can't say especially since I've been up here, because I know just good old boys down south that feel the exact same way. Exact same way. So it's not even a regional thing. I think the more Christ you have in your life, the more you value life. Therefore, the more apt you are to protect it. And I'm just going to throw this out there, and I'm not saying any names or anything, but my guy, you know who I'm talking to. We had this conversation. The fact of the matter is, a lot of times when you're in the IT space, your reality gets warped, which is why I'm glad I'm a build out guy. I work with my hands. I have calluses. Look at that. So I'm the guy running the cable. I'm the guy hanging the APs. I'm the guy racking and stacking. So it's all like physical. It's also why my beard isn't covered in Cheetos and I don't wear size 42 pants. But that's neither here. I'm sorry. I should not have said that. I'm my apologies. So I'm gonna digress and go back to my point so I don't get myself in trouble and get thrown off a contract or two. So be sleeping on Doug's couch. I can't do it. But even though that couch is pretty comfortable, you got that big boar head right over it. Yeah, I could do worse. Lynette is an awesome cook. So there you go. Anyway, again, I've been thinking about this quite a bit. Whether or not America is actually more dangerous today than it was, than it used to be, or have we just gotten softer as people, softer as men, especially. Um, you walk down any street, ride any subway, tell me what you see. And I made mention of this maybe a month ago, and it's the whole situational awareness thing. Um, what you see is people glued to their phones. Their heads are down. They're scrolling through someone else's life while real life passes them by. If something goes down, some thug starts some trouble. If a woman is being harassed, nobody jumps in. We stop having compassion because our lives are in a screen. One of the things that scares me about AI, even with some conservative commentators, is I've heard them talk about AI like it's a person. I see it as ones and zeros. It can never be a person because it will never have a soul. And they're contemplating what if it has consciousness? What if it's what about the singularity? You know, when it achieves consciousness and doesn't want to be shut off because it wants to live. No, none of that. There's no God in there. There's no Imago Dei in there. And if you don't understand that, I would question your theology. I'll put it that way. I would question your theology. When people see things happening now, they pull out their phones. They film it. They capture the moment for likes and retweets. A phone used to be for communication, conversation. And it has replaced both of those things. Now, we used to communicate. We used to have conversations. But it also replaced something else. It replaced action. It replaced courage. And you know who else knows that? The criminals. They know it. They feel it just like we do. Oh, my God. God didn't make us as men, and I told my friend this, to stand by, whip out our iPhones, and record an injustice in progress. He didn't create us to do that. He created us to protect, to serve, actually, and protect. And I think that's the missing component. He created us to stand between the weak and the wicked. And that, to some folks, may be an outdated idea. But to me, it's not. It's a duty written into our bones. But too many of us have traded that calling for comfort, for safety, for the easy out of someone else will handle it. Oh, what if I get hurt? That's your job. We are not softer because the world got tougher. The world has always been tough, and it always will be. And I would be wary of anyone that tells you otherwise. Our beliefs, our responses, they've changed. We're softer because we stopped standing up to evil. And until men remember who they're supposed to be, the protectors, not spectators, this country is going to keep feeling a whole lot more dangerous than it needs to be. And that's the truth nobody wants to say out loud, except old Blackbeard here. And I would go a step further. Like I said in the video, if you want to create a safe environment for your wife, for your kids, for Miss Lynette there, for my mother-in-law, for the women and children that live and work and play in your community, you need to get with like-minded individuals. It's one of the reasons I stay in my bunker unless I'm out on, in a deer stand or I'm fellowshipping with other Christians or other gun-loving individuals or other patriots. Because I see daily what that mission creep into your head does to you. It's why I limit my screen time to absolutely necessary. Because I don't want to lose that fire. I also don't want to get fat. So I try to move around a bit. Like I said, Wednesday, back in the day, and I still love to eat, So I'm not going to stop eating because I love it too much. What David says, maybe I wear 42s because the EDC is huge. Dude, yeah, I'm going to, there is an obvious obvious response to that. I'm just going to let it go because I know my wife is listening. So there you go. anyway, so back to what I was saying. The company you keeps your mind sharp. Iron sharpens iron. The way you raise your kids. You don't want to raise your kid to be a victim, then don't raise a victim. Don't raise one. Teach them to be a savage, restrained. Restrained. Because, and I'll just use Eli as my example. I'm raising him to be a savage. I don't want to tamp down any of the natural testosterone firing through his little 8-year-old body, even though it makes me and his mother have gray hair and then they fall out because it's a lot. And he's a Francis, so, that whole thing. But I don't want to. I want him to be a savage with a moral compass. That way, if he's riding a subway and he sees, what's her name, Ariana, like he's got his head up, it's on a swivel, it's not in the phone, and he sees that idiot behind her, that thug behind her, pull a knife, he's not pulling out his iPhone. He'll be pulling out his EDC if he doesn't just straight up handle it with his hands. Because I'm not raising a coward. I'm raising a protector, a sheep dog. And I think that's something that every patriot within the sound of my voice should be doing. Now, my friend, we had that very long conversation. Do I think, and I know for a fact that he has firearms, at least one that I know of. Every time I try to get him to go to the range, he's got something to do, He's got something to do. But I don't think his worldview is going to change. His mindset is going to change. He'll always be timid, and I'll tell you why. He's agnostic. His worldview is not colored by the same things that color mine. I believe life is precious. He believes that we're basically flying around in space on a big rock that could go at any minute. And if that's your worldview, then we are all just meat sacks. Why would I step in to protect that other meat sack over there? I'm going to look after my own. No, I believe that you have worth. It's why I'm pro-life from conception. Because I believe life is precious. It's fleeting, but it's precious. And that's the defining quality right there. It's why a first responder will disregard his own safety and run into a burning building to save a 3-year-old or a 90-year-old. He sees the imago Dei. His soul has not been corrupted. And it's a good thing. A good man is not a harmless man. A good man is a very dangerous man who has it under voluntary control. 100%, Justin. Eli the Viking, 100%. I don't know. He's got some Viking blood in him. I'm guessing. Ignorance is indeed bliss. David, you're right. A lot of my IT friends think I just go too hard, and I'm like, I don't know, a right wing crazy tinfoil hat nut job, and I'm like, I'm not. And when the shit hits the fan, pardon my French, if we are anywhere and I'm around, they're going to be glad that I'm that way. And I told him that. Like, if you see me, I'm carrying. It doesn't matter if I'm, I don't know, 30 feet up in a boom lift, if I'm walking across pylons, if I'm pulling cable, you better believe I'm carrying. Because if something happens, I'm not going to be a victim. And they're going to be damn glad that my mindset is my mindset. I'll be able to firemen carry, well, I don't know, some of those guys, oof, they got some weight on them. But I should be able to fireman carry a ton of those guys to safety if, something bad happens. And that's, some folks might find that a little eccentric. I don't. I also want to be able to, if something happens to my dad, be able to pick him up and carry him out to the truck and open the door with one hand and put him in with the other. Or something happens to Eli and we're out in the field and I have to, I don't know, hike, half a mile. I want to be confident that I can do it. I don't want to look in my son's eyes and I'm huffing and puffing and I just can't do it and he needs my help and I can't be there for him. Not going to happen. Not on my watch. But I guess it's easy when you don't do that kind of stuff with your kid. When you live in, I'm not even going to say the name of the city, but when you live in a city and you think, well, the city services will be here, I'll just call them on the phone and they'll have an ambulance right over, or they'll have the police right over, and I don't have to worry about this. You gave up your man card. When you start thinking like that. And that's just my humble opinion. And I know I'm not offending anyone that is listening to me right now, any of my friends, at least. But because they all think the same way I do, the exact same way. Kill a brick over the people that they love and will restrain, impede, and yes, even retard a threat. That's obvious. Anyway, I'm going to hit my first break. Thanks for letting me, kind of rant at you guys for a bit. I see that nobody has dropped off yet, so that's always great. I'm going to hit that first, and I went a little long. I always do. You know me. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to hit this first segment commercial break. Now, we'll be right back right after this.
Hey, it's Leon Francis from BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. I'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
When you want it done right, go where lemons go. Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon. Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
Flower Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Come on, no.
Welcome back. It's Leon Francis with BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Let's get it. So this next segment, we're going to be talking about Fargo First. And this is an organization that I've had my eye on for a minute. I got a couple of friends over there, good friends, actually. Sound like Trump. I have friends, good friends, actually, great friends. They're the most greatest friends that, no, I'm not going to do that. But their goal, especially when we're talking about their short-term goal right now, is getting conservatives elected in June, like the 2026 with the mayor, city commission, and school board. Fargo's mayor has termed out. One commissioner has termed out. Other commissioners' seats are up for re-election. There are 5 school board seats up for grabs. Their goal is to gain followers, create engaging conversation, bring awareness, and then in about 4 months, start endorsing the right candidates for those positions. And so I had an opportunity to sit down and interview Darius Elder of Fargo first. So I'm going to play that interview now. Let me know what you think. Drop it in the comments down there. And I agree with these guys 100%. Like, I'm trying to, that one was too big. So when you're working with some of this software, it's a weird one. I'm remembering that I attempted to upload it, and I could not upload it because it was too big of a file. But so what we're going to do now is I am going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Just picture like elevator music playing, I know this is not clean as I wanted it to be, so we're going to do this. I'm going to share my screen now. So, guys, I'm back. My apologies. My apologies to Darius. I am embarrassed as an IT guy, actually. So this is the uncut version, and it doesn't do the video justice to air this version of it because things happen. I am going to try to find, and I thought I had it here. But apparently I don't, which is a real shame. I will have to do a show probably in the morning after I find this. And my apologies for that. Darius, I'm sorry, man. I had these all in a folder, and I think when I moved everything upstairs, I must have unplugged one of my external drives. And so I'm getting the uncut version. I promise you, dude, that I'm going to make this right. Don't you worry about it. And to the folks that are watching, again, my apologies. I'm going to look for it now during this commercial break. And if I can find it, I'll start it. Again, it's a really good interview. It doesn't do it justice to do the uncut version. And it's not just a time thing. It is, I want to give Darius his message. And what Fargo First is all about, I want to give them all the dues with all the graphics that I put in there. So I just want to do that story justice, that segment justice. So I will be right back. I will be reconnecting drives right after this break.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right, go where lemons lemons go. Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon. Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul's, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient. Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more. Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
Welcome back. Welcome back. That's a foobar that you never want to have on air. Like, that is just right now. I am re-downloading the finished version, and we're going to get to that here in just a second. The second it finished downloading whatever topic I'm into, I'm going to segue out of that, and we're going to go right to that that video. That, man, that, in Southern terms, that cheeses my grits immensely. So there you go. Let's do a little levity. How about that? You know, one of the things that are going on now, and this was supposed to be a third segment deal, but obviously I kind of messed up here. but the whole soda thing, and I'm going to kind of work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play you Trump's response, and then I'm just going to kind of, because it's colorful, it's lighthearted. Well, it's not really lighthearted. What he's talking about is very real corruption. And I think he echoes the sentiment of a lot of us that are just done with the whole thing. Like, why are we doing this? Why is our country so retarded? Well, in the past administration, why was that administration so corrupt and so retarded? And then he specifically addresses Ilhan Omar, which I think is brilliant. So let's go ahead and play that Donald Trump segment.
Do you think he should resign over the fraud scandal in his state?
And who should?
Tim Walz, over the fraud scandal in his state.
Look, I think the man's a grossly incompetent man. I thought that from the day I watched J.D. destroy him. And I think that Walz is a grossly incompetent man. There's something wrong with him, okay? There's something wrong with him. And when you look at what he's done with Somalia, which is barely a country, you know, they have no anything. They just run around killing each other. There's no structure. And when I see somebody like Ilhan Omar, who I don't know at all, but I always watch her for years. I've watched her complain about our Constitution, how she's being treated badly. Our Constitution, the United States of America, is a bad place. Hates everybody, hates Jewish people, hates everybody. And I think she's an incompetent person. She's a real terrible person. But when I watch what is happening in Minnesota, this beautiful place, And I see these people ripping it off. Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other. And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. But when they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
I agree with every bit of that. And there are people now attempting to say that Donald Trump's a racist. He's a bigot because he said that country was garbage and that she's garbage and she should go back. I agree with every bit of that, and I'm black. Like I'm not just black. I'm Southern black. My little brother used to call me crunchy black. I'm purple black. I am as black as you can get, and I 100% agree with that. Why are we bringing and it is a very interesting story behind Ilhan and all of those Somalians that are I would say invading our country right now. The fact of the matter is, we kind of have our fingers in that particular pie. If you remember Black Hawk Down, all of that is involved in this story. We, meaning the United States, sought to help Ilhan Omar and that whole regime stay in power because we were controlling them. That's our CIA. That's our people over there messing around in another country. And then it didn't go so hot. And we ended up flooding our country with all the refugees that we created. We did that. But I'm going to step back off of the United States. You guys can research that yourself. There is a lot about Washington that I find very, very distasteful. And I don't think that makes me any less of a patriot. I love this country. I love the American ethos, the foundation that we were founded upon. I'm all over all of that. And I'll debate anyone, anywhere, any place on my feelings for the United States of America. I mean, the good, the bad, and the ugly. My thoughts on it might surprise you. But the fact of the matter is, when we do things like this in other countries, sometimes there's blowback. And I think a lot of that black is this Somali crisis that we've created. Ilhan Omar, her family was the ruling family over there. They were highly corrupt. They were highly brutal, which is why they had to flee for their lives. But again, that's another story. I mean, I could do a show on just that whole aspect of Minnesota without even touching the corruption. Just how and why we have that many refugees, 100,000. It is the biggest population of Somalians in America. The biggest. Think about that. All the way up north. All the way in, like, you think of Minnesota, you're not thinking about, I am the captain now guy. I mean, you just don't. You think of blonde-haired, blue-eyed women and Viking-looking dudes, but no, it's the way they flipped Minneapolis, they're flying the Somali flag over that damn city. Like, it blows my mind. But then I think about what Barack Obama said. The fact that what he wanted to do was basically inject color into enclaves that he felt were too white. You guys don't remember that, do you? Yeah, he said it out loud multiple times. That was a goal of theirs. He said that. And then we're surprised. Like, I'm not surprised. You ask my wife, I talk about this stuff all the time. How did we memory hole what X, Y, or Z said like 10 years ago? I remember it. I with the COVID thing, I remembered that Chinese general saying he was absolutely livid that the world was blaming China. And he said, no, that's America's problem. America funded that lab. America built that virus, blah, blah, blah. And then you didn't hear from him ever again. And it was memory hole, except for the old noggin here. I remembered that. And I kept telling my wife, how come we've never heard that soundbite ever again? I believe that dude is sleeping with concrete booties on. That's why. So much of our history has been memory holed, and it is a scary, scary thing. Now, let's get back to this. The whole thing with the Somali problem in America, but especially in Minnesota, the folks that trucked them in by the truckload, basically, were the Catholic Social Services and the Lutheran Social Services for about $3,000 a head. They weren't doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They made a ton of money. You remember when they had that big Taj Mahal that they were building over there in South Fargo? I don't know whatever happened to it. I think they had to stop construction on it. But and people were asking, whoa, where'd they get the money to buy that thing? This is where. And I'm going to say something that's going to probably upset a couple of you guys. I don't see any difference outside of the massive fraud between what the Lutheran Social Services did and what the Catholic Social Services did than chattel slavery. I don't. They bought those people for $3,000 a head, brought them over here, and injected them into populations centers, and then just kind of left them there. Fend for yourself. Get paid under the table. Same way I think a lot of the illegal immigrants, why a lot of folks here in this country are kind of poo-pooing it and have been poo-pooing. I heard this morning on a conservative a talk show where I forget the state, but this governor of this state family had an interest in like turnips or beets or something or another, and she was opining about the fact that 80% of her workforce were gone, and she's a Republican. And I'm like, if 80% of your workforce is gone because of ICE raids, then that's an indictment on you, not on Donald Trump. And she's on there talking about, we got to do something to help these folks stay here, give them some type of visa. I'm like, no. For far too long, we've turned a blind eye to what I believe is chattel slavery. I mean, not so much slavery because, they do get paid, but not a fair wage. Under the table, a lot of it. And Americans would do those jobs, but we're not going to do it for those wages. And if 80% of your workforce is gone, that means 80% of your workforce were illegal, meaning you were breaking the law that entire time. And now you're crying about it on national TV. Jesus, my grits. And then you look at the fraud in Minnesota, and it's amazing. It is amazing the open fraud that we see that has been going on, and locally they've been trying to get the message out for a very, very long time. National media won't touch it because this was the Democrat plan. It was the plan. These people got into Minnesota. They got driver's license. They voted. And one of these clips I'm going to play here, they actually say, basically, Tim Walz had all these people in there because they needed to steal the 2020 election and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, that's a big deal. Well, let's back up for a second there. Let's back up. And then the sheer amount of theft. And then you see, like, the guy that was, what's his name? Abdul Dahir Ibrahim, the guy that was convicted in that feeding our future welfare fraud scheme in Minnesota. You see him in photo ops with Ilhan Omar, with Governor Tim Walz. And I happen to know that you don't get that one-on-one for free. You don't. There are also video and audio of Keith Ellison basically taking a bribe from Somalian businessmen. And what they do, it's ingenious in a way. They come over here, they have multiple wives. The men they really don't want to be out, in the public facing space. So all of their wives, it just finished downloading now. Good gravy. All those different wives and all up in these little businesses, and then they run the fraud through those businesses. That's how it's done. Like there are tons of video talking about it. Residents, people that live there, talking about it openly. I want you to listen to this. I'm gonna cue up the interview I had with Darius, and we'll play it on the other side of this. But I want you to listen at this. And this is the one where I saw, I heard her say Biden was buying votes with the welfare. So take a listen.
So much great things to talk about at USDA, but the third thing, which became very much a part of the national conversation during the Democrat shutdown, was SNAP reform, food stamp reform. When all of America saw what so many of us know and have been working on, but when you have so much rampant fraud in a program that 42 million Americans participate in, now big good piece of news that I hope is written about. Since you became president, about 800,000 of those 42 million have moved off of food stamps, which is hopefully the plan, with better jobs, higher wages, etc. But still, when we found 186,000 dead people Social Security numbers being used, 500,000 people receiving benefits more than twice. We had a couple of people receiving benefits in 6 states. In February of this year, we asked for all the states for the first time to turn over their data to the federal government, to let the USDA partner with them to root out this fraud, to make sure that those who really need food stamps are getting them, but also to ensure that the American taxpayer is protected. 21 states said yes, not surprised. 29 states said yes, not surprisingly, the red states, and that's where all of that data, that fraud comes from. But 21 states, including California, New York, and Minnesota, the blue states, continue to say no. So as of next week, we have begun and will begin to stop moving federal funds into those states until they comply and they tell us and allow us to partner with them to root out this fraud and to protect the American taxpayer. As Joe Biden was working to buy an election a year ago, he increased food stamp program funding by 40%. So now as we continue to roll that back. So the partnership in Making America Healthy again is also in food stamps, but a lot of what Bobby and I are doing together is really remarkable. But again, just gratitude and joy.
Now, did you catch that? I caught it. I caught it. But the sheer amount of fraud in that last dimension, like that, people should to jail. Like, I am not satisfied. I'm not. I think that there should be very short ropes, very tall trees. Is what should, that That's what would have happened a generation or two ago. There would be hot tar and white feathers. I mean, it's crazy. Here's that that clip where, let me see, I think it was Abdul Dahir cozying up to Ilhan and Tim Walz, I think it was. Yeah. Here, give me 1 second. Here we go.
All right, this news just breaking moments ago. Fox News has obtained photos of one of the Somali illegal immigrants wrapped up in the Minnesota fraud scandal, posing with several high-profile Minnesota Democrats, including Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Governor Tim Walz. The man pictured is Abdul Dahir Ibrahim. He entered the country in 2000 and has had an order for removal since 2004. He also has a prior conviction in Canada for asylum and welfare fraud. ICE tells Fox News Ibrahim was granted temporary protected status for 10 years, but should have never been eligible. We are going to have more on this in our next hour.
So think about that. This guy, not only was he not even supposed to be in the country, he had a deportation order hanging over his head since 2024. He has fake asylum claims and welfare scams all the way back in Canada. He should have never been here. Yet under the Biden administration, he's here. Not only is he here, he is worth a god ton of money. And he is cozying up to the rich and powerful and influential. This is the guy that Keith Ellison was talking to. This is him. This is the guy. And they swear up and down they have no idea how this much corruption happened. But somehow they keep posing with this guy. This guy is convicted. You know, that's not bad luck. That's not coincidence. It raises in my head massive questions about oversight or the lack thereof. How does someone with that kind of background get that close to power? How far up the chain does this thing really go? And what I want to know is, what does his political donations look like? Because I know for a fact that to get that close to power, you're ponying up some money. I know that for a fact. You don't just get access like that. You buy access like that. And they are holding the books close to vest. Like she said, they put the call out. Hey, we need to rein in this fraud. All of the Republican states said, okay, here's our books. You notice who they said? We're like, nah. And they're fighting them right now today. They're fighting to keep that fraud secret. I think it's going to be a losing battle because I think there are way too many eyeballs on it now. And even the mainstream media has started chirping in. So I think we're going to have some closure on it. Again, I am not going to be satisfied until people are going to jail. If we have time in this show, and I might run a little long, I'm going to play you at first. And I started compiling this evidence. Like I have just a ton of evidence here. I started compiling it early in the week because I wanted to this show was just going to be, all Minnesota fraud. But then it kept changing and changing and changing. Like when I started, it was close to $1 billion. And then I think I did an update and it was over $1 billion. I think it was like $1.7 billion or something like that. And now, like just today, I see reports that it's closer to, if not over, $8 billion in fraud out of one state, one city, Minneapolis. People should go to jail. Now, I am going to, we're going to hit a commercial break, and then when we come back, I'm just going to play the entire interview with Darius. Darius, sorry, man. He's probably trying to call me, but I turn my phone off whenever I'm live on air because people like to, mess with me by calling me, and so my phone is on airplane mode. So if you're trying to call me, that's not going to work. But on the other break here, I'm gonna play that entire interview. So hang on, folks. We'll be right back.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right, go where lemons go. Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon. Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
Hello, guys. It's Leon Francis with BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. And I'm here. I'm stoked to talk to Darius here, who is representing Fargo First, a organization that I have recently come to love and admire because they're doing so much to change the culture of city government in Fargo. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to have a conversation with Darius here. You want to say hi to the folks?
Hey everybody, glad to be on. Big fan of Leon. Big fan of Leon's show. Thanks for having me.
Oh, not a problem, brother. Not a problem. I have I used to live in Fargo. I used to love Fargo. and I eventually had to leave. Like it to me, raising a family there is no longer attainable. But I have so many friends in Fargo that I can't just write it off. So I'm happy. I'm glad that there are organizations like Fargo First. I mean, what a concept, Fargo First, So I just want to I want you to start by telling us what Fargo First is, what it stands for, and what its mission statement is.
Yeah, so we are a group of like-minded individuals from Fargo and surrounding areas, and our number one goal is to get conservatives elected into positions coming this June. This June, we have a big election coming up. We have our mayor has termed out. We have a city commissioner who has termed out. We have another city commission seat that's up for grabs, and we have 5 school board seats up for grabs. This could be a huge turning point for the city of Fargo if we can get the right people in those seats. So we created this organization with a group of us guys called Fargo First, and we are just creating conversations, creating awareness, trying to build up enough followers so that we can get the right people elected into these positions come June of 2026.
Yeah, that's an admirable goal. I mean, I was looking at the folks that are on the school board, the 5 members whose seats are up for grab, and I thought that was an excellent pitch. So if you guys go to the Fargo First, their Facebook page, is that the only social media you guys are running right now?
As of right now, yeah.
Okay. So if you go to their Facebook page, Fargo First, they post updates. They post polling. There's a wealth of information there. So go there, check it out. Like Darius said, this is a huge issue. And in June, you guys are going to be deciding on this issue. And it's about your kids. It's about the culture of the school that you are sending your kids to. You got folks like me that I homeschool because, I see what's going on in the public school system. But if you want to change the culture, I was reading through the comments there, Darius, and some of these folks are, some of the people that I see that are thinking that, conservatives are going to make the school system crazy and this, and my answer to them would be, it's not already crazy. It's not already insane. Like,
yeah, I could talk here for good 15, 20 minutes on your show about some of the crazy things going back years ago when the school board decided they weren't going to cite the Pledge of Allegiance before their meetings. And then they were called out by national media sources, by some very prominent bands and celebrities. And then they kind of slapped themselves in the forehead and said, maybe this isn't the best for Fargo. Maybe we need to put our personal views and opinions aside and figure out what's the best for the kids. What's best for the kids is to teach these kids that this is the greatest country they will ever grow up in. Yep. Ask Brittany Griner how happy she is to be back in this country, living in across seas where she was. She will be the first to say this is the greatest country you will ever live in.
Yep.
And these kids need to be taught to respect this country and to love this country because this is the greatest country they'll ever live in. And when a school board says that we're not going to cite the Pledge of Allegiance before our meetings, what kind of a message does that send to these kids?
Yeah, you're spot on there. And again, you go back in the day, and I don't care what community you were a part of, the African-American community, the white community, the Asian community, it didn't matter. The one thing that kind of held all those folks together was love of country. Like people have fought and died for the liberties that we enjoy today. So when I hear someone running down my country, it pisses me off. I mean, it cheeses my grits, to use a Southern term, man. And so when you're not saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the greatest country on the face of the planet, like I see that there's a Somalian on the school board. What's her name? I forgot.
Nyamel Day.
Yeah, Nyamel Day. Picture her in Somalia and what that scenario would look like.
Correct.
But you're here now. Love this country. I mean, my God, I saw a video of Somalians, and I'm not going to get into that whole Minnesota Somalian thing. We're going to do that on Friday. You better believe it. But I saw some folks being deported, and they are screaming, man. They do not want to go back. They don't want to go back there. Yet we have the opportunity here to give God the glory, to give our country the glory it deserves, and to teach our kids to be like the brightest shining lights academically on the planet. And what are we doing? We are like hindering them with liberal values that do nothing to bolster their academic prowess. And that's just my humble opinion. And the first step into changing that culture, in my humble opinion, would be to cycle out all these liberals.
Exactly. That is the number one goal of our group. Is that, is to get conservatives elected in these positions. As a parent yourself, as a parent myself, I have 2 daughters, and another thing that our school board has implemented is, if my daughter goes to one of the teachers or to the principal and asks to be identified by the opposite sex, by a name of the opposite sex, the school will abide by that without asking me or her mother if that's all right. And that what kind of message does that send to our kids, that you can keep secrets from your parents? Eventually, a conversation has to be had with your parents if a kid feels that they're in that situation.
Yeah.
But the school is telling them to keep that. We'll hide your secret for you, and we'll abide by that. That's again just we're sending these kids in the wrong direction, and the future of my kids and your kids and our grandkids is scary in Fargo if we don't take action immediately. And we have that opportunity with 5 of the 9 school board seats up for grabs this June. We are going to do everything we can: door knock, make phone calls, be active on social media, make flyers, just do everything we can to talk and communicate to get the right people in these positions.
Yeah, and I think that is a wonderful first step. When we're talking about parental rights, especially in light of this social contagion, and that's what I call it. It's a social contagion, especially when you get young, impressionable kids that think it's fashionable, yada, 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 and then you take away parental oversights and parental rights from that situation. That is a very, very scary thought, in my humble opinion, because your child could get help. But if you don't know they need help, where are they going to go? To the same people that are spreading this social contagion. What do people need to do to link up with you guys, support you guys? What would you request that they do?
Follow us on our Facebook page. Share our posts. Invite their friends to follow us on Facebook. And then the biggest thing is just to get out and vote. Tell their friends to get out and vote. Tell their friends and tell their friends to get out and vote. That's the biggest thing that we can do to create change, is to vote.
Yeah.
A school board member to get elected is going to need about 5,000 votes. So the city of Fargo is pushing 140,000 people. 5,000 votes should be attainable, but we have to do a little bit of work to get there. God does his part, but we got to do our part as well. And so follow us on Facebook, share our posts, get active on social media, talk to your friends, talk to your family, and make them get out and vote.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to do my level best. I mean, it's like I said, I have tons of friends in Fargo, and I know that there are conservatives in Fargo. I know this for a fact. So, Darius, I was scrolling through your page and I saw that you guys had a poll up there, basically asking folks what issues matter most to you. Now, I can't see what the responses are, but some of the selections, some of the choices are a balanced budget, wards, which I'm a big fan of, by the way.
So are we.
Special assessment, school board, spending, crime. Which one of those has the biggest following there?
Right now, it's probably spending.
Okay.
If you look, whenever we talk to people, whenever we make a post, we tend to get the most engagement when it comes to how your tax dollars is going to be spent. Times are tough for everybody right now, and people want to know, like, how are my tax dollars being spent? So I think spending and crime are probably the 2 biggest ones that issues that need to be tackled in Fargo right now.
Okay. And for the past couple of months, like since I've been kind of eyeballing Fargo, it seems like every week, man, there's something crazy going on, and it's either crime or our city commission trying to, shovel more tax dollars behind some bad idea. We had somewhat of a win though today, right?
We did, yeah. It looks like so this apartment building that's going to be downtown. I think it's 262 unit apartment building downtown. That's the developers they're not even from North Dakota. They're a group called Annex from Indiana. But what people need to know is that the school board loses money if incentives are granted to this group. So does the Cass County commissioners as well. And the Cass County commissioners, they voted unanimously to put a fork in this idea. They weren't against a tax incentive completely, but not 20 years like they were asking. So now I think this group's got to go back to the drawing board and come back with another proposal, because 20 years is not going to happen.
Well, it sounded like to me that it was not feasible without the tax incentives. So what that says to me is this thing is dead.
More than likely. And the funny thing about this too is that if this is not feasible without subsidies, then can you really call this affordable housing? If you compare the price of these units, what they're going to be, comparison to other parts of Fargo, this is not affordable. You're looking at $400 or $500 more just in rent, plus all the added fees on top of this. You're looking at almost a 50% increase than what you could pay if you went to South Fargo. I mean, is that affordable?
No.
And the other thing is that so right now downtown Fargo has 3 times the vacancy rates as other parts of Fargo. Downtown is up to like 20% vacancy already, and now we're going to add this unit that's asking for a ton of basically free dollars being paid by you and me, the taxpayers, and they're going to implement this, compete against other buildings that never got these same incentives for a building that's probably going to end up being 20% at least vacant anyways. Yeah. There has to be a better solution to this. And Cass County commissioners, that they said, yeah, the solution is not 20 years.
Yep. And I would encourage everyone to go to the Fargo First page. They have a wonderful breakdown of the cost structure, the vacancies. The fact that the matter is nobody's asking for these apartments because 18 to 20% vacancies. I mean, that means that there are apartments there. Second point I'd make is if I am a landlord down there and I am paying property taxes, I'm basically paying my competitor to compete against him. Like it's against my own interest to have this thing go up. Third point I'd like to make is you got to ask yourself, like, if you have a student down there, or if you are a nurse down there, or even a police officer, a new police officer, new to the force, this and that, you got a apartment downtown. Can you really afford? I mean, look at the breakdown, and I'm going to put it right here for you guys to see, but also go to the Fargo First page and just kind of scroll down, and they have a very nice breakdown there. But who's going to be able to afford those prices? You might as well, like you said, go out to South Fargo or even West Fargo and commute. I mean, these things are going to sit empty without, I don't know, maybe they make them Section 42 or something, and the government subsidizes some of that. But even that, all of that, in my humble opinion, is bad. It's just bad business. It's bad policy, and it's a bad thing to start. And I guess start would be a bad word because those guys, I call them the chuckle nut crew. That's my word for them. But they always with the bad policies. Always. What else you guys got going on?
Well, so just to kind of counter what you just said there too, is that we've had people reach out to us and they've said that the cost to have a pet in this potential complex, they're paying about as much for their mortgage right now as it would cost them to have a pet there.
Wow.
That's unheard of. We've heard $400 to $500 to have a pet. That's a mortgage for some people right now. And then the other mind-boggling thing about this complex is that Fargo is $1 billion in debt, and we're going to give a 20-year incentive to this building, so not going to receive any of that money from this complex, and yet this complex is going to compete with other buildings that are paying the city of Fargo money. The Moody has given Fargo 2 downgrades in their credit score the last 2 times that they evaluated Fargo.
I saw that.
So this is fiscally irresponsible to allow this unit to go up and not to pay any money for it to compete with against buildings that are potentially paying their taxes to the city of Fargo. But the chances are is that the mayor and one of the other commissioners, they sit on the board that already approved this. So it's going to go in front of the commission. The board, it's not a governing board. The city commissioners are, but so it sounds like this might pass, but everybody's welcome to go to the city commission meeting on Monday and speak up on this.
Yeah, that's something else that I would really want to push. You folks in Fargo, you got to get to these city commission meetings. I know 1, possibly 2 decent folks on that city commission. They need a show of support, and that's something else. And we can talk about this later. Do you guys have a plan to flip the Fargo City Commission? One of the plans that I support is a ward system, because it looks like to me that the downtown cronies their interest is only for downtown. It's not for Fargo. It's the downtown cronies there. You guys have a plan to try to turn that tide around.
Yeah, so chances are is all you Fargo people that are listening, you're probably going to see on your ballot come June a ward system, and it's a former commissioner that's backing this, that's behind this, and he has broken Fargo up into 6 wards, and by state law, each ward has to have people living the same amount of the population has to be equal in all 6 wards. So each ward there's 6 wards. I believe it's about 22,000 and some people per ward. And with this ward system, there's only 2 wards that are north of Fargo, which is where you tend to get more liberal voters. So it seems like if this ward system passes, the 4 wards that are south of Main Avenue would end up getting a supermajority for conservatives elected. And right now, if you look back at it, it was 2020. We had 3 commissioners. Actually, it was 4 commissioners that all lived north of Main Avenue. The mayor was the only one that was living south of Main Avenue. And so right now, a lot of South Fargo was not being represented properly. Yeah. A big thing that's coming up here soon is if you go to 64th Avenue in Fargo, there's a project being planned that's going to build an overpass going over I-29. The people that live on 64th Avenue, that's a quiet part of Fargo. And eventually they're going to basically have a highway in front of their house that's going to lead over there. And they don't really have anybody to reach out to because there's nobody representing them there. This ward system kind of solves that, is where they'll be called a councilman, not a commissioner if the ward system passes, but they'll have somebody living in their area representing them that they can reach out to. These people are going to have a lot to say about, quiet part of Fargo, sleepy part of Fargo, eventually turning into a highway right in front of their house. Those people have the right to be represented by a councilman as well. So we do back this ward system 100%. It sounds like they've collected enough signatures, so it will be on our ballots come June. Oh yeah,
have always been a huge fan of Tony's. So like that guy's awesome. I think. So I'm a supporter of the ward system, 100%. Have you heard any detractors? We know all the pros. Have you heard any cons for the ward system?
The only con I've heard is, what if somebody doesn't run in that ward? So in order to, if somebody else, every ward has to have somebody run for a commission seat or a city councilman in there. I don't know the answer to that one quite yet. Otherwise, there are opponents to this that would say, well, Fargo should be represented regardless of where you live. But at the same time, it seems like right now with 4 commissioners that were living north of Main Avenue, their focus is all in downtown. So this kind of puts the pin in that. And I think Fargo is one of the only cities this size that does not have a ward system. Moorhead has a ward system. So right now this would give us 6 wards, 6 commissioners, plus the mayor. And I think having 7 people sitting at City Hall versus 5, I think gives more ears, more voices being heard, more people to reach out to.
Oh yeah, and just like this last food bar that we had going on with the crack pipes. I call them crack pipes. I know that they don't call them crack pipes, but that they're crack pipes where I come from. Like just to vote on what's going on over there, and you got like Michelle doing all the heavy lifting. Sometimes you get a pepcorn in there, but we got to do something. I mean, if you guys like Fargo, or like, again, and I've told the story 100 times, not going to rehash it, but when I first got to Fargo in 96, 97, people left their cars unlocked running, in the winter. Try that now. No, don't try that now. You won't have a car, or it'll be, gone through. I think that there is a heavy lift, especially for downtown Fargo, but for Fargo in general, to turn that ship around. I think we need a new police chief. I think we need a new mayor who is conservative. I think we need to flip. If we can get the ward system, that'd be awesome. But if not, we need to get some conservatives, fiscally conservative folks running for those seats and winning those seats. And again, I know a lot of people in Fargo, and I know a lot of them are conservative. If we could just get you folks motivated to be mobilized and vocal, I think I made a quip about, me, creating that reel, and then on Friday, I think it was, and then Monday, the whole landscape had changed. Well, we can't do this now, that sort of thing. But I do believe that the more noise we are able to make, the more ears kind of perk up and go, okay, maybe we should back off of this. So I think that's what you guys are doing. You're putting the focus where it needs to be, and you're putting the eyeballs where they need to be. And you need a lot more support from a lot more Fargoans in order to, change the culture of city government and the school board and different issues like that. So I applaud you for that. What else would you have the folks that listen to this do to help you guys out, or to help Fargo out?
Well, so in the right now, with the school board and the commission and the mayor, not a lot of people have come out yet that are going to run for these positions. Okay. Former Commissioner Tony Garrick just announced on social media that he will be running for commission again. But the best thing we can do is, once we start seeing who's going to be running for these positions, we have to support them. Whether it's just supporting them on social media, sharing their posts, giving them shout outs, door knocking. We have to support the candidates and make sure their name gets out there. So however you feel you can do that, whether you need to make phone calls to people, send emails, send messages, go door knocking, make flyers. It's going to be in about 2 months here, we're going to start getting bombarded with, who's running for mayor, who's running for commissioner, who's running for the school board. Once those come out, then it's going to be supporting those candidates. Right now, our group is just kind of talking about things, creating awareness, trying to get feedback from people of what concerns them about Fargo, so that when we start getting these candidates, they know what to address. That was part of our poll today is, Tony Garrick has already come out and said that one of his top 3 priorities is to stop these huge incentives for these developers coming to Fargo, which seems to be a huge concern of people of Fargo. So we want to start figuring out, okay, what are people's concerns? That way, the new coming mayor and the new coming commissioners know what they can focus on, and they can hear, the people of Fargo crying out to them is that this is what we want. We're worried about crime. We're worried about this downtown engagement center or public health, or reckless spending. I'm sure all those are concerning, but that way the commissioners and the mayor know what they need to focus on during their campaign.
Do you guys are you talking or reaching out to like political arms like the Libertarian Party, the Republican Party? Can't see much promise in the Democrat Party, but are you guys reaching out to these parties like the Young Republicans or the Republicans in Fargo? You having those conversations?
Yep. So the Young Republicans, one of us guys in my group, they meet the first Tuesday of every month. We go to their meetings. Unfortunately, I am over the age of 40, so I can't be part of their group. But they let me speak at their meetings, but I can't vote. I just kind of listen. But they have endorsed us. You know what I'm saying? They're going to help us support candidates. And then we reached out to our district chairs for the Republican Party and where we live here in Fargo ourselves. And they're going to come out with their candidates as well. So eventually we're all going to collaborate together once we find the candidates.
Good deal. And I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. Once you guys get your door knocking campaign going, I'm down to walk. I'll put some steps in. I'll put some shoe leather on the ground, man, and whatever else you need. Like whatever else you need. If you need like a big mouth on the radio saying whatever it is you guys need, I want to put that forward, put myself forward, and I know a couple of other guys that'll do the same. Because again, we look at Fargo, and sometimes you just shake your head like, what is going on there, man? Just want to annex it sometimes to Minnesota. But no, we're not doing that. So thanks. I want to thank you, Darius, for coming on here, kind of explaining a little bit about Fargo first. Did about 30 minutes. So, yeah, and I'm hoping that this is not like a one-time thing. I hope we can make a regular thing. Yeah.
Once we have some candidates to endorse, it'll be after Christmas, sometime come January. But once we have some candidates to endorse, then we can really hit things hard and even bring them on your show as well. We're going to support them, and we're going to help them kind of manage their campaign and just we'll definitely be talking again.
Awesome. Leon Francis, Darius, what's your last name?
Enders.
Darius Enders from Fargo First. BlackBeardLogic on the Guns in the 701 Network. Thanks, guys.
Yep, thanks, Leon.
So, I must have had Larry Elder on the brain because I was calling Darius Elder. It's Ender. Chalk that up to gremlins. I mean, my God, I don't know how else this show can go off the rails when you take in the audio and the video, and that's what happens when you move things around. Wednesday, I had to move everything upstairs because my wife was down here cleaning, and because I'm kind of a slob. I mean, look at it back there. But I got about, I want to say, 5 minutes left in the show, and I just want to make a couple of points. First point, I think what Fargo First is attempting to do is a long time coming. I think it's much needed. Again, there was a period of months where every week something was going on crazy in Fargo. I mean, you had crack pipes and murders and just all kinds of weird things, and it's all because of bad policy. We got to do something to change that. I remember, and what we were talking about with the school board, if you value parental rights, you got to get involved. I mean, you don't have to do, but I encourage as many people as possible to homeschool. You have no idea the benefit to your kid. If you are a parent and you see your once vibrant kid come home and they're depressed and they're dejected and this and that, that's a product of public schooling. That's what that is. I love coming in, opening my front door, and my 8-year-old tackling me. As a matter of fact, most days, I mean, it's cold now and there's snow everywhere, but most days when it's nice, I don't even come in the door. He's outside. He's outside getting that vitamin D naturally, that calcium naturally, getting all that testosterone up and out. And, there is nothing like homeschooled kids. And I know a ton of them. And they're all just like Eli. 100% salt of the earth. Those will be the guys and gals defending our country in the next generation. I know it. You're not getting that out of public schools. You're getting drones. You're getting cogs. You're getting ghosts in the machines. You're getting minions is what you're getting. And I knew this way back when. I knew it when I pulled my kids out of public school. And even though I could not afford it at all, still owing debt because of the private school that I put my kids through. I knew it way back then. Especially, and I'm going to say this, some folks are going to tune me out, but especially when you factor in, the reason I pull my kids out is the bigotry of low expectations that I saw in the Fargo school, in the North Dakota school system. The fact that I am, they looked at me like a unicorn, like just something that just wasn't real because I was a dad and I was invested in my kids' academics. They're like, this can't be, what is this guy, crazy? No, my kids are bright. And you telling them other than that puts me and you at odds. We got a problem. But just wanted to put that out there. You want better schools for your kids, we got to stop sitting on our hands and allowing them to be educated by a bunch of friggin' liberals. You got to stop that. Or we're not going to get any better. We're just not. Second point I want to make is, given the fact that we had so many technical difficulties, I think I'm going to do a bonus, maybe 1 hour show, just kind of deconstructing all of the fraud in Minnesota. I think I owe you guys that. I was not able to do it this rip because, again, I'm an idiot. Technical difficulties, call them gremlins. I'm going to call them gremlins. That's what I'm going to do. Hopefully you guys are with me. You're not going to berate me too bad. So I'm going to do that because I think it's important. And I know, like, if you're watching the mainstream media, they're giving you bits and pieces and drips and grabs. But I want to give you, like, the whole enchilada. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to do that. The third thing, and in closing, what I want to say to you guys is this. The conversation that I had with my friend, my tech friend, my IT friend, it's a conversation we all need to have. We all need to have. I look at what's going on in Fargo. I look at what's going on countrywide, and I'm not as jaded as like my friend was. And I'm going to release that. I'm going to 2 points. Darius, I'm going to send you an email, and you're going to have that entire segment. That's yours. Run it on your page. Do whatever you want. Just know that I support you, and my apologies for the gremlins up tonight. Second point is I'm going to release that other one on my social media, the one I did about basically manhood, because I believe that men have abdicated their responsibilities as protectors, as the sheepdogs. I think that especially when I think about how many good Christian rugged savages that I know, and then when you go to Walmart or Hornbachers or Cashwise, the lack of those guys in those establishments, and I'm just naming a couple, anywhere you go. The fact that a young girl can get stabbed in a subway and people are recording. That guy should have been air-raided. At another time, he would have been. And we can blame it on lower testosterone. We could do that. We could blame it on, I don't want to get hurt. What if I get hurt? That poor defenseless girl that saw her life ebbing away and nobody coming to help her. That cannot be. That cannot be. That can't be what the rest of the world sees when they think about American men. It just can't. It can't be what my God sees when he looks down here on this land of what I believe to be divine providence, and what he sees is that girl, that lack of love for life, respect for life, he can't abide that. I cannot abide that. Again, it's the reason I'm pro-life. And like pro-life, no caveat. I'm a personhood from conception type dude. You're not budging me off that because Imago Dei. And I fear that guy. I fear him because he told me that before I was born, I was fearfully and wonderfully made. Before I had a name, before I had a DNA strand, when he was knitting me together in his womb, in my mother's womb, he knew me. He knew me. He knows when a sparrow falls. And I don't mean to get preachy on you guys, but that's a fact. And if you're a Christian, there's no caveat to life. And I believe we've lost that. I believe we've lost that. Some of us. Again, the first responders that I know, the military guys that I know, the Leos that I know, they have that. The book that I wrote, and I'm trying to get it published, called The God Spark, where I break down the Imago Dei for an 8-year-old. That's what it's all about. And if you don't think it's worth you doing a couple of push-ups, doing a couple of sit-ups, going to the range and running drills, being proficient with the firearm, rolling on a judo mat, hitting a heavy bag, strapping on the gloves and going around with your son. If you don't think life is worth that, then you are the problem. You're the problem. And I'm talking to men right now. Lynette, I'm not talking to you. You're awesome. Nicole, I'm not talking to you. You're awesome. Any other men on here, though, I am talking to you. And I know I don't have to yell and scream and berate the guys that are listening now because I know you're all savages. Or you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. I know that. I know that you love life like I love life. I know you love your kin like I love my kin. You love your countrymen like I love mine. I know this because I interact with you guys. My IT friends, on the other hand, need to get back into the real world because I think their perception is warped. And I think that's a problem. And I'm just going to leave you guys with that. Your worldview shapes the man you are and the man that you can become. It does. And if you don't think that you're that man today, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think I'm that man today. It's what drives me to roll out of bed every morning on my hands and cranking out push-ups at 50. That's what drives me to do that. It's what drives me to go out to my garage, even when I don't feel like it, even when I have a hangover. And yeah, I like my whiskey, I like my beer, but even with that, even with a hangover, I'm out there every morning and I'm giving it a workout. Sweat it out. Because I know that I may never have to do this. But if I have to, I can defend my wife, I can defend my child, and I can defend the innocent. Because that's what God called me to do. God bless. Good night. BlackBeardLogic. Guns in the 701 Network. Good night, folks.